fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, signed, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you along.
With Floyd Mayweather's recent actions during controversy, Terence Crawford has finally broken his silence about what went wrong between the two. In a new interview, Crawford revealed that Mayweather's unusual behavior toward him actually started in the lead-up to his victory over Canelo.
Using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But, his core personality and his...
Crawford explained that normally, Floyd would check in before his fights, showing support and encouragement. But leading up to the Canelo bout, there was silence. Instead, Crawford heard from people close to Floyd that he wasn't really backing the fight, and even that he didn't want Crawford to come out on top. At first, Crawford brushed it off, but once...
Hey Floyd, what do you think about the fight, Crawford Mayweather? He says it's gonna be a good fight. Think the winner should get Canelo?
Sir.
This ain't about them right now.
Crawford also revealed another layer to the tension, claiming it was actually Floyd who leaked the news about him carrying injuries during camp. For Crawford, that was the moment he realized the situation wasn't just about boxing. It felt personal.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time. And
Crawford explained further, saying, "Yeah, he was also the one who let the world know about my injuries. I later found out he was the source. Of course, I wasn't going to admit that before the fight. I went into the ring, handled business, and became champion regardless. Everyone saw his bet on me, and I couldn't help but wonder, why place money on me but not even reach out personally? Still, I kept quiet, because I'm not the type to speak on things before their time." According to Crawford, he brushed Floyd off at first, until Mayweather suddenly began calling him out, demanding a fight to settle who the real GO8 is. Crawford admitted he was confused by the energy, saying, "I don't understand where the jealousy comes from. Because all I've ever been to Floyd is a good friend and a genuine fan."
My elbows is hurting, my hands, my wrists, my neck, things like that. You gotta listen to your body and just say, all right, decompress. I'ma just chill out and let my body just do what it do.
I know you had a great camp, but brother, you finna be 38 soon,
He went on to reveal that he wasn't at full strength going into the Canelo-Alvarez fight, which makes his victory look even more remarkable. Crawford defeated Canelo by unanimous decision to become the undisputed champion at 168 pounds, making history as the first male boxer to unify titles in 3 different weight divisions: 140, 147, and 154. Before the fight, rumors began swirling, rumors that Crawford says were sparked by Floyd Mayweather himself. The talk suggested he was struggling with a lingering shoulder issue during training camp. Crawford, however, shut down the speculation, insisting that he was healthy and ready, despite the whispers.
If I take Floyd Mayweather in his absolute prime, and I take Manny Pacquiao in his absolute prime,
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd still beats him.
Floyd beat everybody.
You don't believe there's a guy at 140, 147 in the history of boxing that could have beat Floyd in his prime?
It'd be tough. Floyd, man, that boy, man, that's the GOAT, man. That boy bad.
What makes it, because, and I told people, I said, look at Floyd. I said, Floyd, it's not that he trains, it's his life. And from the very beginning, he said, I want to be the...
When I fought Canelo, I was 36, and Canelo was 23, around the same age. Some of these guys won world titles and was undisputed champion. I think, the Tank age, the young little champions.
Mm-hmm.
Canelo was 23 with 43 fights and 30 knockouts.
Breaking reports added fuel to the fire. One close source claimed, Terence Crawford's shoulder, the same one he had surgery on, has been flaring up in camp. It's been a lingering issue for the past 8 to 10 weeks, and the team has been monitoring it closely. This revelation only intensified speculation before the fight. with many wondering whether Crawford could truly perform at the highest level under such circumstances.
There's rumors that you've got a shoulder injury. Do you have a shoulder injury, or is that just rubbish?
Where I got a shoulder injury, I don't know. I think people coming up with their own, antics. Terence Crawford got a shoulder injury. Terence Crawford out of shape. Terence Crawford slow. Terence Crawford. Yeah, they coming up with all.
Crawford later laughed off the rumors. Where do I get a shoulder injury? I don't know. People just come up with their own antics. Crawford's got a shoulder injury. Crawford's out of shape. Crawford's slow. They say all kinds of stuff, he explained. Looking back, Crawford admitted there was no way he would have revealed anything before fight night, since handing over that kind of information would have only boosted Canelo's camp.
Couple days, right? How was that last camp you just had?
It was great.
I know it was great. Well, did you feel different at 37?
A little bit, yeah.
You had no bumps and bruises?
Man, we always got bumps and bruises.
I'm saying bumps and bruises at 37.
And I had bumps and bruises at 27,
However, when asked directly about his condition heading into the fight, Crawford admitted to Andre Ward that he wasn't at his best. I had a lot going on in camp. I was dealing with injuries too. I didn't go into the fight 100%, not at all. You're never going to go through camp and come out perfectly healthy. A lot of people ask me, how did you feel? Man, I had a lot going on. This fight, the last fight, even the one before. Injuries too. Always injuries.
Are you feeling a difference in power now you've moved up and you're at your natural weight?
Of course. Power is definitely going to come with it, so that's not any worries that I ever had to have.
Terence, what excites you the most about this challenge on Saturday night?
Shutting everybody up.
And what does this feel like to you, Terence? We normally don't come in an arena and see you booed the way that you were today. How excited are you to shut everybody up?
Hey, man,
The revelation that Terence Crawford was not at 100% only magnifies the greatness of his victory. Jumping 2 full weight classes to challenge the undisputed king was already a monumental task. Adding to that, a compromised shoulder directly impacts the very core of boxing. The ability to generate power, sustain a high punch output, and maintain a firm defensive guard. Yet Crawford delivered a masterclass. He neutralized Canelo's trademark body attack, consistently outlanded him, and concealed any sign of weakness. Doing all of this while battling an injury underscores not only his skill, but also his extraordinary mental fortitude. It silences critics who might have downplayed the win as merely Canelo having an off night or being past his prime, especially in light of Canelo's own revelation that he will undergo shoulder surgery following the Crawford fight. In truth, both men entered the ring carrying physical burdens. For Crawford, it was the lingering pain from camp. For Canelo, a shoulder that required medical attention. Yet despite these parallel struggles, Crawford's ability to rise above his limitations and dominate the bigger, naturally stronger champion makes the performance even more remarkable. Rather than diminishing the fight, the shared adversity highlights just how grueling and unforgiving boxing truly is, where greatness is often defined not by perfect circumstances, but by triumph in spite of them.
If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
The revelation that Canelo Alvarez will undergo elbow surgery has reignited debate across the boxing world. Was the injury truly a decisive factor in the fight, or is it simply an excuse to soften the blow of a legitimate defeat? For many observers, this loss stands out as one of the most painful moments of Canelo's career, not just because of the stage he is at as a seasoned champion, but also because of what was at stake. Falling short against Crawford meant more than losing a belt. It represented a setback to his legacy at a time when every fight carries historic weight.
How did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was at...
According to recent reports, Canelo Alvarez will undergo surgery to repair an elbow injury, sidelining him for an estimated 5 to 6 months. This setback forces a pause on his career, just as he remains tied to the lucrative Riyadh season contract, which guarantees at least 2 more fights. It's not the first time Canelo has had to fight through serious physical issues. Following his trilogy with Gennady Golovkin, the Mexican superstar required wrist surgery before returning in 2023 to reassert his status as one of boxing's biggest icons. Now, with yet another operation ahead, questions emerge about how much longer Canelo can continue competing at the elite level.
When you look at these fights, you know, especially coming up, you gotta be realistic. You gotta, you know, say, all right, you know, how big is this dude really is? Because David Benavidez, he can fight his ass off, you know. Me personally, I believe
Terence Crawford's victory was nothing short of commanding, as he controlled most of the action at Allegiant Stadium and further cemented his place among the very best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Yet the news of Canelo Alvarez's upcoming elbow surgery immediately fueled debate. Some fans argued the injury explained Canelo's unusually low punch output, with comments circulating online such as, "Well, that explains why he wasn't throwing much." On the other hand, many insisted Crawford's triumph was decisive and clean, stressing that bringing up Canelo's condition only takes away from what was an all-around masterclass by Bud.
Crawford against Mayweather, right? How do you think a fight between both of them turn out?
If Mayweather gets hit with Crawford like I hit him and rocked, it might not end well for Mayweather. They might be over it. But Mayweather could outbox Crawford, I think, because Crawford has the mindset that I'm trying to knock you out, and Mayweather knows how to play to that I'm trying to knock you out type of thing, because he's used to people coming at him trying to hit him hard all the time.
The big question now is what comes next for Canelo after surgery. Some observers believe he should take a tune-up fight to ease back into competition before stepping in with another elite opponent. Others suggest that after so many years at the very top, it may finally be time to consider retirement. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford stands tall at the peak of the sport. His victory over Alvarez not only cemented his status as one of boxing's true benchmarks, but also opened a new conversation about just how far his legacy can still reach.
I am now.
How do you beat Floyd though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
Crawford took one of the biggest risks of his career by jumping up 2 weight classes to challenge Canelo for the undisputed super middleweight crown. With the fight broadcast worldwide on Netflix in front of millions, the stakes couldn't have been higher. A knockout loss would have been devastating, not just to his reputation, but to his entire legacy. Instead, Crawford defied the odds, pulled off the upset, and walked away with a unanimous decision victory. In doing so, he etched his name into the history books as the first male fighter ever to become undisputed champion in 3 different weight divisions.
When I looked at it, he came out in the southpaw stance and he took Canelo's jab away from him. As you know, if you take a fighter's jab away from them, then it's hard for them to really land. You force them to use one shot, and he forced them to use his backhand, his rear hand. Crawford was ready for the loop in the right hands.
For Crawford, it was never about the money. The true test was always proving, inside the ropes, who was the better man. That has been Bud's philosophy since the very beginning, to leave no doubt, to show the world decisively who reigns supreme. Few ever imagined Mayweather's throne could be threatened, but here we are. Crawford has seized it. And what makes it even more extraordinary is that his story may not be finished. There's already talk that Bud could drop to 160 pounds and carve his name into history as a 6th division world champion. That's going to wrap it up for today. For the latest updates, highlights, and breaking stories in the world of boxing, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our content. Until next time, peace out.